Welcome to Jewish Wisdom on JTV. I'm really happy to be joined back with Rabbi Joseph Dweck, who's going to be speaking to us on the topic of freedom.
Yeah. I was thinking about freedom because when we think about the core ideas of Judaism, freedom is almost the centerpiece. You know, throughout our liturgy, we keep going back to this refrain of Zecher L'Tziat Mitzrayim when we talk about God, which means we remember that He took us out of Egypt. So almost more than we talk about Him as creator of the universe, which we do, we keep going back to this refrain of the one who brought us out of slavery, the one who brought us out of bondage. And when we look at our year and look at the cycle of our festivals, the Mishnah looks at, even the Torah itself looks at Pesach, at Passover, as the first of our festivals. Even though it's not on Rosh Hashanah, the new year, it looks at it in terms of months. So freedom is what kicks off the cycle of our festivals. And it is central to us. It's central to how it is that we live our lives. But the question is, what really freedom means? Is it just a matter of doing whatever it is that you want, or having the ability to do whatever it is that you want? Or is it something more? So there are two major things that we're told to do in the Torah on Passover, on the first night. And the most central thing is to tell this story. We're supposed to tell our story. We're supposed to start from the points of slavery, of the difficult things in our past, and move into liberty and freedom. But there is something about telling the story and that affects the way that we look at our lives. It causes us to look at our lives not as a bunch of isolated days that we live and where we get up in the morning and say, okay, what am I doing today? It causes us to look at our lives as a story. And so I see my whole life unfolding. And it puts identity at the source of the life that I live. Who is it that I am? Who is it that I wish to become? And so when we think about freedom, why is that the major aspect of what we do in a festival of freedom? Why is telling stories what it is that we do? And the reason we do that is because freedom in the Torah and for the Jewish people for centuries was more than just about having the ability to do what one wishes and not having to do what someone else asks of you, although that's a major part of it. But the overarching idea and the higher idea is that freedom, more than being able to do what you want, is being able to become what you want. And so in our freedom, we are choosing to become someone. We are choosing to become something, in where we are using the ability that we have to be able to choose whether we want to do something or not, and plug that into ultimately the question of what it is that we want to become. And so that has major ramifications, because if my question is, I want to build an identity, and that's my goal of my life, then I might choose not to do things that otherwise I would want to do. So if I know that I want to become an Olympic athlete, I will, even though I might want to sleep at times that I want to sleep, eat things that I want to eat, and socialize with people on certain times and certain levels, I might choose not to do that in order to be able to become what it is that I wish to become. I may choose to do things that I otherwise might not be interested in doing because I know that it will bring me to that space. And that is the core idea. It is a cornerstone in Judaism, because essentially it has us build our lives around the idea that I have the ability to become who it is that I wish to become, and that I can be informed from my identity, that I tell my story, that I see my life as a story, as an unfolding of a broad development. And I not only look at my life that way, I look at my life against the backdrop of history that way. So I don't just see my life as a story. I see my life as part of a greater story. And it changes perspective for us, because we don't then look at our life as isolated moments. We look at our life as moments that become part of an entire tapestry. And I think that has informed our people so powerfully. And it plays into the concept of hope as almost as a balance to freedom. Because when I know that I have a story that I am working on, and that my life is an unfolding of that story, I realize that there is a line that is running through all of creation, and that I am part of that line. I'm either online or offline. And the word for hope in Hebrew is tikva. The root of that word is kav. The word kav simply means a line in Hebrew. And so I see my life, I see the lives that came before me, and ultimately the lives that will come after me, as being on that line. And so when we as a people now, in modern times, sing about the tikva or hatikva, essentially what we're talking about is our freedom and our ability to live our lives on that line, to be able to recognize that my life is more than just the isolated moments that I live, but an unfolding of a story that reaches back to the earliest days of history and reaches forward into the farthest future.